Have you ever noticed the way your cat pauses before stepping into their litter box? The tiny hesitation, the careful paw, the way they sniff the air as if searching for reassurance. To us, it may seem like a simple routine, just a box of sand in the corner of a room. But to your cat, it is so much more. It is their private sanctuary, their safe space, the one place where they can let their guard down in a world that often feels too big and too loud. And yet, without realizing it, many of us make little mistakes that can turn this sacred space into a place of stress and discomfort. Mistakes that may quietly hurt our cats, even if they never tell us in words. Tonight, let's walk together through the gentle world of our feline companions. Let's uncover the hidden truths about their litter box, not just the rules to follow but the deeper meaning behind them. Because when we get this right, we don't just give our cats comfort. We give them peace. Mistake number 1. Using a litter box that's too small. Have you ever watched your cat circle inside their litter box before settling in? It's almost like a dance. One paw steps forward, then another, they turn, dig a little, adjust, and only then do they begin their business. This ritual is not just habit, it's instinct. Cats are creatures born from the wild, even if your little one spends their whole life indoors. Their ancestors dug into soft soil under trees, pawing until the earth felt just right. They covered their scent carefully, not just for cleanliness but for survival, so predators couldn't trace them. That sense of space, freedom, and safety still lives in your cat's heart today. Now imagine them stepping into a litter box that feels cramped. Too short, too narrow, too tight. Their body curls in an awkward angle, their tail pressed against the wall, their paws scratching at corners with nowhere to dig. They may still use it at first, but inside, they don't feel safe. They feel restricted, like trying to sleep on a bed that's too small for your body. A box that is too small silently whispers discomfort. It says, "This is not enough space for you." And our cats feel that. Many cat parents, with the best intentions, choose smaller litter boxes because they save space. Apartments are tight, homes are busy, and a tiny box feels more manageable. Manufacturers, too, play into this, designing boxes that look neat and tidy for us, while forgetting the silent needs of the ones who use them. But here's the truth. A litter box should be at least 1.5 times the length of your cat's body. Big enough for them to step in, turn fully around without bumping into walls, and dig with ease. Big enough to let them carry out their ancient ritual of circling, scratching, and covering. Think of it this way. Your bed is more than just a place to sleep. It's where you stretch, roll over, curl up, and sigh into comfort. For your cat, the litter box is the same. It is not just a bathroom, it is a space where they should never feel trapped. When the box is too small, some cats will quietly tolerate it, until one day they don't. They may start doing their business beside the box, on the rug, or in some quiet corner. To us, it looks like misbehavior. To them, it's a cry for space. Now pause for a moment, close your eyes and picture your cat. Imagine them walking gracefully into a box where their whiskers don't brush the sides, where their paws feel room beneath them, where they can dig freely and cover their scent with dignity. That feeling, that little comfort, is everything to them. It's easy to underestimate this need because cats don't always show their discomfort the way we do. They don't frown, they don't complain out loud. Instead, they live with quiet patience, until it becomes too much. A spacious litter box is not just about hygiene. It's about respect. It's about telling your cat, "Your comfort matters to me. Your space is important in this home." And maybe, just maybe, when you give them that freedom, they'll repay you in the quietest yet deepest ways. By curling up beside you at night. By blinking slowly as if to say, "I feel safe with you." By trusting you with the little vulnerabilities of their heart. So if there's one change you make today, let it be this. Choose a litter box that is big enough for your cat's world, not just small enough for your room. Because in the end, the space you give them in that little box reflects the space you give them in your life. And trust me, they notice. Mistake number 2, choosing a covered or hard-to-access litter box. Picture this, your cat steps toward their litter box. The room is quiet, but as they reach it, they see only a dark entrance. A plastic tunnel, a lid, a space where they must squeeze in without seeing what waits beyond. For us, it might look neat, clean, hidden. But for your cat, it can feel like stepping into a trap. Cats by nature are both hunters and prey. Even inside the safety of your home, their instincts whisper reminders. Be alert, be aware, danger could be anywhere. When they use the litter box, they are at their most vulnerable. They can't run, can't fight, can't scan the horizon. It's a moment of trust. Trust that the space is safe enough to let their guard down. Now imagine being forced to do this inside a covered box, with only one way in and out. The walls block their view, the lid muffles sounds, and every sense of escape disappears. For some cats, this feels unbearably risky. They step inside with hesitation, and each second there feels like a gamble with unseen danger. We humans often choose covered litter boxes because they look nicer in the home. They hide the mess, contain the smell, and blend into our living rooms. But to a cat, that same design can take away the freedom they need most. The freedom to see, to breathe, to feel in control. Have you ever noticed your cat suddenly sprinting across the house for no reason? That's not madness, it's instinct. A sudden burst of survival energy. And when that same instinct meets the claustrophobia of a covered litter box, what we see as litter box avoidance is often just their way of saying, I don't feel safe in here. There's another quiet truth too, scents. Inside a covered box, odors gather and linger no matter how much we clean. To us, it might smell faintly unpleasant. But to your cat, with a nose far more powerful than yours, the intensity can be overwhelming. Every visit feels like walking into a storm of trapped smells, none of which give comfort. Think of it this way. Would you rather use a bathroom with a window and fresh air, or one that's small, closed, and heavy with trapped odors? Your cat feels the same. And then there's the issue of entry. Boxes with lids, high sides, or awkward entrances may feel practical for us. But for an older cat or even a small kitten, they can feel like walls too high to climb. Each step becomes a chore. Each visit becomes a strain. Little by little, they may begin to avoid it altogether, searching for somewhere easier, even if that means your carpet or laundry basket. But here's the beautiful part. The solution is so simple. An open, wide, and low-entry litter box can transform your cat's comfort instantly. It gives them visibility. They can see the room around them, watch the door, know there's no hidden danger. It gives them air. Fresh circulation instead of trapped smells. It gives them ease. A simple step in and step out, no barriers, no struggle. When a cat feels this freedom, something magical happens. They no longer rush their business. They no longer hesitate at the entrance. They take their time, they dig deeply, they cover carefully, and when they're done they step out calmly, tails high, confidence intact. This isn't just about litter. It's about trust. A cat that feels safe in their litter box carries that sense of safety into the rest of their world. And when they trust their environment, they can trust you more deeply too. Have you ever seen your cat pause at the doorway of a covered box, almost as if deciding whether to risk it? Or maybe they dash out the second they're done, as if escaping a cave? Those are their whispers. Their way of telling you, I wish this space felt safer. So next time you consider a litter box, think less about what looks tidy to us and more about what feels safe to them. Leave the box open. Choose accessibility over aesthetics. Because to your cat, the litter box is not about looks. It's about survival, instinct, and peace. And in giving them that peace, you give them one more reason to stay close, to purr beside you, to trust the hands that made their world feel safe. Mistake number 3, choosing a litter box with sides that are too high. Close your eyes for a moment and picture your cat. The way they stretch in the morning, the way their paws press gently against the floor, the way they move with grace. Sometimes fast and playful, sometimes slow and cautious. Now imagine this same cat standing in front of their litter box. But instead of stepping in smoothly, they pause. The walls of the box loom higher than their comfort. They crouch, preparing to leap or stretch a paw over, testing their balance before climbing in. For a young, energetic cat, maybe this isn't too hard. But even then, imagine having to jump every single time you needed to use the bathroom. It would grow tiring, annoying, stressful. And for older cats or cats with stiff joints or even just smaller kittens, those high sides can feel like a mountain. A daily obstacle between them and relief. We humans often think, if the walls are taller, the litter won't scatter everywhere. My floor will stay clean. And yes, it seems practical. But what's practical for us may quietly punish the ones we love. Because cats don't see high walls as a neat solution. They see them as barriers. And barriers in a place meant for safety feel cruel. Think of your cat's body. Their spine is delicate, their hips flexible yet vulnerable, their paws built for soft digging rather than heavy climbing. A high-sided box forces them to strain just to get in and out. Every visit demands effort. Every trip becomes work. And here's the part many people don't realize. Discomfort at the litter box often shows up in mysterious ways. A cat may begin avoiding the box altogether, not because they don't know where to go, but because it simply doesn't feel accessible. So they find a softer path. A corner of the carpet. A pile of laundry. A place where their body doesn't have to fight just to be comfortable. And then, we humans often get frustrated. We call it bad behavior. But in truth, it's not disobedience. It's quiet suffering. Now there's a simple, compassionate solution. If your cat tends to scatter litter, yes, higher walls can help. But instead of surrounding the whole box with towering barriers, look for a design that balances protection with kindness. Some litter boxes have one lower wall, almost like a doorway. This gives your cat an easy entrance while still keeping most of the litter inside. It's a small adjustment, but to your cat, it feels like the difference between a locked gate and an open door. For older cats, this matters even more. As the years pass, joints stiffen. What was once a light hop can become a painful hurdle. And because cats hide their pain so well, you may never see the wince in their eyes or the strain in their muscles. But you will see the avoidance, the hesitation, the searching for another place to go. If you've ever had an elderly family member in your life, you know how small changes can make all the difference. A lower step, a softer chair, a handrail near the bed. Your cat deserves that same gentleness. And think of kittens too. Those tiny paws, those wobbly legs. For them, the box should be an invitation, not a challenge. They're learning, trusting, and forming habits that will last a lifetime. Make it easy and you make it safe. Here's the truth. Your cat doesn't care if a few grains of litter spill onto the floor. To them, what matters is the feeling of stepping in freely, without struggle, without fear. And isn't that worth more than a spotless corner? So ask yourself this. Do I want a tidy home at the cost of my cat's comfort? Or do I want a happy, trusting cat who knows their needs are respected? Because when your cat knows that even their litter box, their most private, vulnerable space, has been chosen with love, they feel it. They may not say thank you in words, but they'll show it in the way they linger near you, the way they purr against your chest, the way they close their eyes and let themselves truly rest. In the end, the height of a wall may seem like a small thing. But to your cat, it can be the difference between anxiety and peace, between feeling trapped and feeling free. And in their quiet, graceful way, they'll never forget the choice you made for them. Mistake number 4. Placing the litter box near food or water. Imagine this for a moment. You sit down at your dining table and right beside your plate of warm food there's a toilet. The sight, the smell, the feeling, it would ruin the meal instantly, wouldn't it? Now imagine if every day that's the only choice you had, to eat with discomfort. For our cats, placing their litter box near their food or water bowls creates the same quiet distress. What feels like convenience, to us feels like a violation of their instincts to them. You see, cats are deeply clean creatures. They may shed fur and scatter toys around, but when it comes to food and elimination, they draw a sacred line. In the wild, they would never eat where they relieve themselves. One place is for survival. The other, for releasing what the body no longer needs. And confusing those spaces feels unnatural, even stressful. Yet in many homes, especially small apartments or shared spaces, it happens without us realizing. We tuck the litter box into a corner near the kitchen. Or place it just beside the water fountain, thinking, at least everything's together. It saves space. But to our cat, it feels wrong in ways they cannot explain. Here's what really happens in their heart. Each time they approach their food, they catch the scent of waste nearby. Each time they step into their litter box, they smell the presence of food. This overlap blurs the safe boundaries of their world. And a cat that doesn't feel safe often becomes anxious, withdrawn, or starts showing behaviors that confuse us, like refusing the litter box altogether. Have you ever noticed your cat turning their nose up at fresh food? Or hesitating before drinking water from their bowl? Sometimes it's not the food at all, it's the location. It's the uncomfortable mix of survival and waste that makes their instinct recoil. Think of it this way. Food is love. It's safety, comfort, the heart of home. The litter box, while necessary, is the opposite. A place for letting go, for burying what must be hidden. To put them side by side is like forcing two worlds to collide. And here's something even more subtle. Cats communicate with scent. Their food and water areas carry the fragrance of nourishment, trust, and safety. Their litter carries the opposite, scent they carefully bury to avoid detection. When these scents overlap, it confuses not only their comfort, but also their deep sense of territory. Now pause and picture your cat's daily routine. Imagine if their food was in one quiet corner, where the smell of fresh water filled the air. And their litter box was in another, distant place, where they could go privately without worry of overlap. That separation would bring peace. It would restore the natural balance their instincts crave. This isn't always easy in small homes, I know. Space feels limited. Corners are precious. But even small shifts can change everything. Maybe it means moving the litter box just one room away. Maybe it means keeping food bowls on one side of the house, and the box on the opposite end. What matters is the message. Here is your place of comfort, and here is your place of privacy. They will never collide. And when you respect that separation, your cat will notice. They will approach their meals with more joy, more calmness. They will use their litter box with less hesitation, less stress. Because to them, the two spaces will no longer send mixed signals. There's also a deeper beauty here. By separating food and litter, you honor your cat's dignity. You tell them, I see you not just as a pet, but as a being with needs, with instincts, with feelings that matter. And the reward? Your cat's trust deepens. They eat with peace, drink with comfort, and curl up near you not just because you feed them, but because you understand them. So take a moment today. Look around your home. Notice where the bowls sit and where the box rests. And ask yourself, if I were my cat, would I feel comfortable here? Because in the end, comfort isn't about convenience for us. It's about compassion for them. And the small kindness of separating food from litter might be one of the greatest gifts of love you can give your cat. Mistake number 5. Placing the litter box in noisy or busy areas. Have you ever tried to focus on something deeply personal, maybe reading a book or sitting quietly with your thoughts, while a loud washing machine rumbled beside you or people hurried past, voices echoing in the hall? It's hard to relax when the world around you feels unsettled, isn't it? Now imagine your cat. They approach their litter box, a place where they are most vulnerable. Their body crouches low, their eyes soften, and for a moment, they surrender to instinct. But then a loud thud, a passing shadow, the sudden roar of a dryer or a slamming door. In an instant, their sense of safety shatters. For a cat, the litter box is more than just a bathroom. It is a place of trust, a quiet sanctuary where they must feel safe enough to let go. And safety is fragile. Noise, movement, footsteps, or even the hum of machines can strip away that fragile peace in seconds. Many of us, without realizing, place litter boxes in hallways, laundry rooms, kitchens, or near busy doors. It feels convenient, a spot out of the way where mess can be managed. But for our cats, those same spots can feel like danger zones. Every sound echoes. Every footstep feels like a predator approaching. Every sudden noise reminds them, you are exposed. You are not safe here. And so they hesitate. They may walk in and out without using the box. Or worse, they may stop using it altogether, finding quieter corners of the house where they feel unseen, undisturbed. Not to spite you, but to save themselves from the stress of vulnerability. Think of this through your cat's eyes. When they crouch in the litter box, they cannot run quickly. Their posture is low, their claws buried in litter, their focus inward. If a sudden sound startles them, their body floods with adrenaline. Even in a loving home, their wild instincts scream, "Get out now." This is why so many cats dash from the box the second they finish. It's not always playfulness, but relief at escaping a vulnerable moment. Now imagine offering them something different. A quiet corner tucked away from the washing machine, away from heavy footsteps, away from doors that slam and people who rush. A still place where the air is calm, and the only sound is the soft padding of their own paws. When you give them this, you're not just giving them privacy. You're giving them dignity. You're saying, this is your safe place. No one will disturb you here. Have you ever noticed how cats often choose hidden corners of the house for naps? Under the bed, behind the couch, curled into a closet? That's because silence and stillness are treasures to them. And what they crave in their sleep, they crave in their litter box too. For older cats, this need grows even stronger. Their senses may dull, their reflexes slow. Noise feels harsher, sudden movements more startling. To place their box in a busy, noisy spot is to forget their vulnerability, and yet, to move it to a quiet one is to show them tenderness. It may mean rethinking our space. It may mean giving up the convenience of tucking the box into the laundry room or hallway. But the trade is worth it. Because in return, you gain a cat who feels calmer, who trusts their environment, who carries less silent stress in their heart. Here's a gentle truth. A cat who feels safe in their litter box often feels safer in their entire home. It ripples outward. Their purrs grow deeper. Their naps stretch longer. Their eyes soften when they look at you. So take a moment today. Listen to your home. Where are the quiet corners? Where are the still spaces? That's where your cat's litter box belongs, not in the heart of the noise, but in the whisper of peace. And the next time you see them step inside, circle gracefully, and relax fully, you'll know you've given them more than just a bathroom. You've given them a sanctuary. Mistake number 6. Using litter that's uncomfortable for their paws. Have you ever walked barefoot on gravel or sharp sand? At first, it seems manageable, until each step sends tiny pinches of discomfort through your feet. You might not complain out loud, but inside, you long for the softness of grass, or the smoothness of a wooden floor. Now imagine your cat. Every single day, multiple times a day, they step into their litter box. And the ground beneath their paws, The one place they must dig, circle, and settle, feels rough, sharp, or simply unpleasant. Cats' paws are not just tools for walking. They are delicate, sensitive instruments. Each pad is lined with nerve endings that help them sense textures, vibrations, even temperature. Their paws are how they feel the world. So when the litter inside their box is harsh, whether it's coarse silica, crystals with sharp edges, or even clumping clay that feels too heavy, their paws whisper discomfort with every step. They may still use it because instinct demands it, but deep inside they don't feel at ease. And sometimes this discomfort grows into avoidance. You may notice your cat perching at the very edge of the box, trying not to touch the litter with all four paws. Or scratching half-heartedly before leaving too soon. Or worse, seeking out softer surfaces elsewhere. Your rug, your laundry, the soil of your plant pots. To us, litter is just litter. A bag from the store, chosen for convenience, price, or promises of odor control. But to your cat, it is the ground they stand on in their most vulnerable moment. It is the difference between peace and pain. Here's a simple test you can try. Run your own hand through the litter. Press your palm into it with a little weight. If it feels sharp, uncomfortable, or harsh to you, imagine how it must feel on paws so much softer and more sensitive. If it hurts you, it surely bothers them. Cats don't want scented lavender litter. They don't need silica crystals that look clean. What they want is comfort. Soft, fine, sand-like textures that mimic the soil of the wild. Something that yields gently under their paws, that welcomes their digging, that lets them bury their waste with ease and dignity. Think of how much care you put into choosing your own bed, your shoes, even the carpet beneath your feet. You choose softness, support, ease. Why should your cat, who depends on you for everything, deserve any less for the ground beneath them? And here's a deeper truth. The litter you choose isn't just about physical comfort. It's about emotional trust. When your cat steps into their box and feels softness instead of pain, they feel safe. They relax. They complete their ritual calmly instead of rushing out in discomfort. And that safety ripples outward, shaping their mood, their trust, their happiness. Have you ever noticed your cat needing a blanket, pressing their paws rhythmically with eyes half closed in bliss? That's what comfort feels like to them. Now imagine if their litter box could carry even a fraction of that same peace. For kittens, soft litter is especially important. Their paws are tiny, tender, still learning the world. A harsh texture can scare them off the litter box before the habit is even formed. For older cats, too, with sensitive joints or arthritis, every step matters. And the kinder the surface, the easier their daily life becomes. Yes, softer litter may scatter more. It may cling to paws and spread across the floor. But here's the question. Is a few extra grains of sand worth more than your cat's comfort? Is sweeping once a day too high a price to pay for their peace? Because in the end, a happy cat is never measured by the neatness of your floors. It's measured in the way they trust their home. The way they step into their litter box without hesitation. The way they purr after, content and unbothered, instead of rushing away. So take a moment. Run your hand through their litter. Feel what they feel. And ask yourself, would I want to stand here every single day with my bare feet without choice? If the answer is no, then perhaps it's time for a change. A softer litter. A kinder ground. Because when you give them comfort at their most vulnerable moment, you're not just caring for their body. You're honoring their spirit. And that's the kind of love they never forget. Mistake number 7. Using scented litter that overwhelms their sensitive noses. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine walking into a room where the air is thick with perfume. Not just a gentle fragrance, but something so strong it clings to your skin, fills your lungs and refuses to leave. At first it might smell pleasant. But after a few minutes, the sweetness becomes suffocating. You long for fresh air, for stillness, for the clean simplicity of nothing at all. Now imagine your cat. Their world is built not on sight like ours but on scent. Where we see colors and shapes, they read invisible stories in the air. Every smell carries meaning, safety, danger, memory, belonging. Your scent, the warmth of your skin, the trace of your clothes, is comfort to them. The faint smell of food means joy, while the crisp smell of fresh air signals freedom. And then there's the litter box. For you perhaps, it's a place you wish would smell like nothing. For companies it's a problem they solve with perfume, lavender, citrus, mountain breeze. But for your cat, it becomes a place that screams, this is not natural. This is not safe. Because here's the truth, cats don't just smell with their noses. They live through scent. Their sense of smell is 14 times stronger than yours. What feels like a faint lavender note to you is a storm of overwhelming perfume to them. Every step into the litter box floods their senses, choking out the natural signals they rely on. And here lies the tragedy. What companies design for you, freshness, fragrance, deodorizing, they design against your cat. For them, those scents are not comfort. They are confusion. They mask the smells they instinctively search for, the clean scent of soil, the reassurance that their territory is safe, the ability to mark and recognize their own presence. Imagine if every time you sat down at your own bathroom, the air was filled with an unbearable cloud of perfume, sharp and constant. Would you want to linger? Would you feel relaxed? Or would you rush, avoid, maybe even seek somewhere else that felt calmer, cleaner, quieter? That is what scented litter does to your cat. Many cats will tolerate it silently. They'll step in, do what instinct demands, and dash out quickly, their paws carrying faint traces of perfume they never wanted. Others will quietly resist. They'll avoid the box, hold their needs longer than they should, or retreat to places that smell more natural. The corner of a room, the soil of a plant, your soft laundry. Not to misbehave, not to defy you, but because their body begs for relief from a storm of scent. We forget sometimes that cats are children of the wild. In nature they bury their waste in earth, sand, soil, clean, unscented, alive with the smell of the land. That smell tells them they are hidden, that predators cannot find them, that their world is safe. What happens when that is replaced with lavender perfume? Instinct collides with confusion. Here's the truth your cat wishes you knew. They don't care if their litter smells like flowers or citrus. They don't need mountain breeze to feel clean. What they crave is something simple, neutral, natural, the quiet scent of earth. Unscented litter may not mask odor as dramatically for you. But remember this, odor isn't just controlled by fragrance, it's controlled by cleanliness. Scoop daily. Keep the box fresh. And you'll find that the air is clear without needing to drown it in perfumes. And your cat? They will thank you silently. With softer eyes. With slower steps into their litter box. With the calm that comes from not being overwhelmed by the very air they breathe. Think of this change not as a small adjustment, but as an act of kindness. Because when you remove the perfume, you're not just giving them comfort. You're giving them freedom, the freedom to use their litter box without stress, to trust their environment, to feel at home in every sense. And here's the most beautiful part. When your cat feels safe, calm, and unburdened in their private moments, they carry that peace back to you. They curl on your lap with more ease. They nap with deeper breaths. They purr with fuller hearts. All because you chose to see the world through their nose, and gave them the gift of simplicity. Mistake number 8, not cleaning the litter box often enough. Picture this. You walk into your own bathroom. The floor is unwashed, the air is heavy, and the sink carries yesterday's stains. The smell lingers, sharp and sour, pressing against your senses. Would you feel at ease? Would you want to stay? Or would you retreat quickly, longing for a space that feels fresh, cared for, respectful? This is the silent truth of your cat's litter box. To us, scooping once a day might feel enough. Sometimes life is busy and we postpone, telling ourselves we'll clean it later. But for your cat, even one day of neglect changes everything. Their nose is far more sensitive than yours. What smells faint to you pounds against their senses like thunder. What looks not too bad to you feels unbearable to them. For cats, cleanliness is not luxury. It is survival. In the wild, they bury their waste to stay hidden from predators, to keep their territory safe. Every scoop, every covering of soil, is a whisper of protection. When the box is left dirty, that whisper turns to a shout. You are exposed. You are unsafe. And so your cat hesitates. They may step in, wrinkle their nose, and step back out. They may circle, restless, unable to find a clean patch to use. They may finally avoid the box altogether, searching desperately for another spot, not because they want to upset you but because their instinct drives them toward survival. Think of their paws for a moment. Soft, delicate, their most precious tools for climbing, running, hunting. Every time they step into an unclean litter box, they feel the dampness, the clumps pressing against their pads. And when they leave, they carry it with them, on the same paws that touch your floor, your bed, even your lap. But more than the physical discomfort, it is the emotional unease that weighs on them. Cats, though small, are creatures of dignity. They groom themselves endlessly, polishing every strand of fur, keeping their body pristine. When their litter box is left dirty, it feels like an insult to their nature. As if the sanctuary they rely on has been abandoned. It's no wonder that cats who live with clean litter boxes are calmer, more affectionate, more trusting. They feel respected. They feel understood. Because in their private world, a world we so often forget, we've chosen to honor their needs. And yes, it takes effort. It means scooping not once a day but twice if you can. It means fully changing the litter at least once a week, washing the box, scrubbing away the hidden smells that even your nose cannot catch. It means remembering that this simple act is not a chore but a gift. For every scoop, you are telling your cat, "I see you. I care about your comfort. Your dignity matters here." And cats notice. They may not thank you with words, but they thank you in softer ways. In the way they step into their litter box without hesitation. In the way they return to you afterwards, relaxed, content, eyes half closed in quiet trust. In the way they curl beside you at night, their body pressing against yours, purring in the comfort of a home that feels safe, cared for, clean. Neglecting the litter box, on the other hand, often ripples outward. Stress builds in their body. Accidents happen in hidden corners. Frustration lingers in the home. But beneath it all is not disobedience, not rebellion, only a cry for the cleanliness their instincts demand. Here's something to remember: your cat cannot clean their box. They depend entirely on you. And in that dependency lies a quiet bond. When you choose to keep it clean, you are not just doing a task. You are deepening that bond, showing them with action that their needs are seen and honored. And perhaps, that is the most sacred part of sharing life with a cat. It's in the small, unseen acts. The scooping, the scrubbing, the quiet maintenance of their world. These things may seem simple, but to your cat, they mean everything. So the next time you bend down to clean their litter box, don't think of it as a chore. Think of it as love in its most humble form. Because for your cat, a clean box is not just hygiene. It is respect. It is safety. It is the quiet foundation of trust that makes every purr, every soft gaze, every tender moment possible. And when they step inside their fresh, clean sanctuary, unbothered, unafraid, they are not just using a litter box. They are living in the comfort of your care.